Minnesota Timberwolves traded Karl-Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks for Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, and a Detroit Pistons first-round pick. Toddy, what were your thoughts on the trade?
I felt like the first round pick, they kind of like threw that in there to kind of sweeten the deal, which was pretty crazy. Cat, he's a guy that can go for 70. We've seen it multiple times. It's pretty crazy to see that the lineup of Brunson, Bridges, OG, Karl-Anthony Towns, like that lineup can make some things happen. Now, he did disappear a couple of times in the playoffs last year. You'd like to see a little bit more from him, given what his contract is, because he's going to be making about $60 million in the latter years of his contract. But the Knicks are kind of able to absorb that with the Brunson deal that he made over the summer. As far as the Timberwolves side goes, I think this is kind of, we believe in Naz Reid and what he's able to do. Rudy Gobert, the dynamic of what he's able to bring defensively. Julius Randle is an all-star, so he's a guy that could definitely get buckets for you. How much better is he than Karl-Anthony Towns? Are they around the same? I'm not sure. You could argue that they're close, but I think Julius Randle will be able to fit right into this Timberwolves offense, and it's kind of the Ant show anyway, so pretty much everything revolves around him. Is DiVincenzo, where does he fall as far as minutes go? Because Kev is a big Dillingham guy. So how does DiVincenzo affect the Dillingham minutes?
We're all going to play the one.
Dillingham plays the one?
Oh, yeah, he's playing the one for sure. He did a backup calling.
Okay, so DiVincenzo could start at the two, maybe. I'm not sure how that Ant could play. Ant played two.
Yeah, Ant plays the two. Yeah, it's Mike, Ant, Jaden.
They might just do
Julius
and Dillingham off the bench.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Guys out there. So, I thought the trade was pretty even for the most part. I thought the Knicks definitely got better than the Timberwolves, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean the Knicks are kind of just loading up to they gotta beat the champs. Everybody's loading up to beat the champs. I mean the Sixers went out and got PG. Knicks just traded for Cat. It's an arms race.
Traded for Miles. They traded everybody.
It's an arms race. I mean, the Bucks still have Dame and Giannis, who were pretty much unhealthy the entire playoffs last year, so they're going to be back. Yeah, the East just got better for sure. Celtics kicking their feet up, defending champs. I think they still go back, but I think it's going to be – well, New York kind of just fell apart at the end of the year last year. And so injuries played a – like Jalen Brunson broke his hand. It was over after that. They didn't have a chance. But this Knicks team, can they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? I mean, I feel like anything short of that now is kind of like, all right, the team is kind of made for us to get to the ECF. But yeah, I thought the trade was pretty crazy, given the names that are in it.
So in a lot of trades, you wonder who won and who lost. It is very apparent who won and who lost. The New York Knicks won and the Timberwolves lost. When Anthony Edwards would struggle, who would pick up the slack? Karl-Anthony Towns. You're telling me we're going to bet on Julius Randle, who isn't a playoff riser, to help load this team up? They had their best year in 20 years and decided to blow up the team to save money. I get it. It's a business. There's hard decisions you have to make. Are we going to keep Cat or keep guys like Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker? They chose to go to Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander route. I heard there wasn't really a lot of buzz for Rudy. They would have been willing to trade Rudy, but no one wants Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
So the only person you can trade on that contract is Cat. You get Julius Randle, who's on a 1-year deal. You can trade him, or you can just let him walk. Same with Dante DiVincenzo, so that you guys are getting cheaper, but are you getting better? So there's a lot of things to look at. The Knicks are loaded up with star power now, but what everyone's failing to realize is they have 2 stars and a bunch of role players, essentially. No one thinks OG's anything crazy. We thought Mikal was going to be something, but
He
he's
got
really
paid like something
a
crazy.
glorified role player. So Jalen Brunson and Cat are going to have to lead this team. Mitchell Robinson's been hurt. They lost Isaiah Hartenstein into free agency to Oklahoma City Thunder. They had to make a big move and to do the center. Cat is like Anthony Davis. They don't really like playing the 5. They want to play the 4. So is Cat got to go down there and bang? He only averaged 7 rebounds a game last year. So for that to be an NBA center is subpar. But before we close out, Cass, do you have any thoughts on the trade? I know you're not a big hoops guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually going to ask you the question, which you already answered it. Just who you felt won the trade and lost the trade. From looking from the outside in, as someone who just for the people who don't know, I used to be a really big NBA fan. I haven't over probably the last 10, 15-ish years. Don't ask why, but it just kind of fell off. But I do know for a fact that, most good teams that have superstars, whether they're a forward or a guard, aka Anthony Edwards, you have to have a big man to complement. So losing Cat, I already know just from a basketball perspective, that's a massive loss when it comes to the Timberwolves. As for the Knicks, I mean, you said it best. I mean, the games that I've caught from the Knicks and witnessing Jalen Brunson, I bet a little bit here and there. You know what I mean? Dude goes off. He's a stud. And they kind of did what I feel like I just said most teams look to do. You pair up a guy who can give you buckets with a guy who can kill in the paint. You know what I'm saying? Defensively and offensively. Like you said, Todd, I thought you were kind of being a little too much there, saying, we got a guy who can put up 70. It's like, okay, yeah, we saw those games. I know games you talk about. Was it 2 games in the same season? Was it the same season, right? Or was it just?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was the same season. Yeah, he went off 60 and then 70 or whatever, something like that. Something crazy. It was like a crazy week for basketball. It was like that, and someone else did it. Went off. It was like Luka. It was like back-to-back games almost. I think
Luka Book did it. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Wasn't Joel a part of that mix too?
He might have.
It was all in the same week. It was just okay, what the what's going on?
Who scored the most points?
Yeah,
but Cat definitely took it. If not mistaken.
Yeah, everybody was.
But yeah, so I mean, just from a very version NBA mind, I would say nowadays, it just seems like the Knicks, they made a power move. You see, all the teams in Eastern Conference or in the East that you have to get past. Not saying much, be like the Sixers, obviously defending champions, Boston Celtics. You got to make these moves, bro. I mean, it's just that simple. You don't make these moves, you don't make a run in the playoffs. And the NBA is also a type of league where you see everybody doing it nowadays. I mean, this goes all the way back to when LeBron first jumped ship in Cleveland and he went to Miami. All of a sudden, what did you notice that started changing the league? Players, all right, man, screw this, man. I'm going to the super team. So the NBA's, I mean, the face of the NBA is super teams. It's just the way that it is now. If Cat wants if he wants an opportunity at a championship, go to a team that's going to give you the best opportunity. And maybe that's not in Minnesota, which is fine. You guys said it yourself as guys who watch the NBA way more than I do. Sounds like he made, not he made, but the Knicks made a really good decision in snagging a big guy who can give you buckets again on both sides of the court. So just all in all, just seems like it's going to be fun to watch the East side yet again and see what happens over there. So